Hello everyone, my name is Mr. B and welcome back to another video. So we're at the end now of this fall anime season and most shows have either started to wrap up or have already ended by this point. So about a month ago I released a video talking about the shows that I'll be watching during the fall anime season. And truth be told, I did not expect anything to deliver aside from probably Call the Night. Because I was really hyped for Overlord Season 4 and I wasn't really into Classroom with the Elite and Rent a Girlfriend is just well. I'm not gonna talk about that. So I wasn't really expecting much, and I didn't really expect to make a video covering any of the shows from this season. And yet, one show stood out to me the most, and it's Lycoris Recoil. To put it into perspective, how much I'm obsessed with this show, this here, this right here is a Japanese magazine, fully in Japanese. Like, shit. I bought a Japanese magazine because it had Lycoris Recoil characters in it. Sure, there's some merch here and there, these are the merch, but I was obsessed. I was legitimately obsessed with this show. And it's not that I'm obsessed with no reason at all. It's legitimately a good show. If you've watched every single episode since it's aired, it's been a really fun ride. And although I said that it wasn't really doing anything unique and stuff like that, it somehow felt really fresh and it was a really, really fun show. But with me rambling, some of you might be thinking, what the hell is this show? What the hell is Lycoris Recoil? I've never heard of it. And I wouldn't blame you. Lycoris Recoil is an anime original made by A1 Pictures, which is one of the biggest anime production companies ever. They've made shows like Sword Art Online, 86, and all that, as well as being one of the parent studios for studios like Studio Cloverworks. The show takes place in modern day Japan, where an organization known as DA formed a task force by the name of Lycoris, a task force basically comprising of anime girls because of course it is. And these girls are tasked with eliminating threats in the country, such as terrorism and all that, in order to keep peace within the country. The story of the show starts off with one of our main characters, Takina, disobeying team orders because her teammate was in trouble, so she took matters into her own hands. And by doing so, she indirectly put her teammates in trouble. So she's put in timeout and is sent to this cafe called Lycoris, basically a cafe under Lycoris, and she's partnered up with another Lycoris member, Chisato. Chisato turns out to not only be one of the best, if not the best Lycoris member in the organization, but she also has the ability to dodge bullets. Despite her abilities and whatnot, she uses non-lethal methods such as blanks or non-lethal equipment to incapacitate her enemies rather than killing them. Of course, this leads to some confrontation between the two, but for the most part, Chisato's upbeat attitude just shrugs it off and she's just doing it because she wants to do it. Very early on, the show was going to have a very big focus on the very upbeat Chisato as well as the most serious Takina, and this is a large part of the story, obviously with some other elements here and there, which I'm not going to spoil. That's the general gist of the show. Without going too deep into what the story is about, because that would be delving into spoiler territory, judging it on a surface level, I maintain my opinion. I mentioned that this show didn't do anything unique. It was nothing special with the story and whatnot. And I maintain that because if I were to judge this on a surface level as to what it was based on the first few episodes, yes, it does not do anything unique. It's just a normal slice of life with a bit of action here and there. But as you progress with the story, it became a lot more fun and I watched every single episode and I didn't get bored. It's really, really fun. So to sort of talk about the show, it's a mix of action and slice of life, and I feel like this show does a really good job in blending these two elements together. The action sequences was some of the best choreography I've seen, and coming from an anime original, it surprised me. It, I think, rivals even that of Spy X Family, which has really amazing choreography. Because Chisato's ability to dodge bullets, it allowed for creative choreography as well as some cool action sequences, and there's a reason why some people are calling this John Wick the anime because there's a lot of gunfights in this show and they were really, really fun as well. But despite all the amazing action the show had, some of my favorite moments were the slice of life moments. There was one episode where Chisato and Takina just went out shopping, went out to cafes, went out to the aquarium. They were just hanging out. And to me, that was my favorite parts of the show. It reminded me of that these are not assassin girls or whatever. These are just normal girls, and seeing them act as normal girls was really, really fun in my opinion. To me, the slice of life coupled with the action sequences were the best parts of the show. The ability to blend these two elements together was a really, really nice thing to see. Obviously, this is not the first show to do so. This year alone, Spy x Family is probably like the best example of blending slice of life as well as the dramatic action moments. But to me, the reason why I speak highly for Lycoris Recoil is because this is an anime original. So many times we've seen anime originals trying to have too many themes and failing to maintain it, I guess. Best example, I guess, is Darling in the Franxx, which started off to be a really good anime or really decent one at least, but then slowly devolved into something I don't even know. And I liked Darling in the Franxx, but you have to admit, the show got really bad after the second half of the season, let's be real. And that's a lot of problem with a lot of anime originals because they try to introduce so many things with so little runtime that it ended up just over bloating or ended up ruining the anime as a whole. But with Lycoris Recoil, it never felt that way. The first half of the show was very focused on slice of life with action here and there, while the second half of the show was more focused on the dramatic action moments with slice of life here and there. So it changes after the second half of the show. But to me, it never felt like it lost its identity. It never felt like it tried to be something that it wasn't. A lot of anime originals, like I said, suffer from this problem. With Lycoris Recoil, it's one of those original anime that didn't suffer from an identity crisis. It was just a solid show from start to finish, and it knew what it wanted to be. The change of the tone from being slice of life to more action drama heavy was the natural order of where the show was going, and I think that's why a lot of people really, really enjoy the show, is that the ability for it to remain consistently really, really good was amazing. Not only that, but some of my favorite moments of the show comes from the characters. The characters were the entertaining parts of the show. To me, no matter how good the show is, I will always remember the show for its characters. It doesn't matter if the show is a 10 out of 10 or 0 out of 10. I'm going to remember it for the characters. If the show is bad, I'm gonna like it if the characters are good. That's just my opinion. And to me, Licorice Recoil is just one of the shows from this year that are just really, really good, that did everything right with the characters. Chisato's upbeat personality is not something new that we've seen in anime, but it was the best part of the show. Chisato being the main focus point of the story is what to me elevated the show even higher. Her ability to influence the characters around her, both good and bad, were fun to watch, and seeing her interaction, seeing her being upbeat, seeing her being serious, seeing her being sad or whatever, was my favorite moments of the show. She really carried this show. Seeing her interactions with Takina especially was the best part of the show. I mentioned before that their relationship was going to be the focal point of the show, and for the most part it was. It was from start to finish. The main focal point of the show was seeing Takina and Chisato's relationship develop over the course of the episodes. Obviously, they're not the only characters in the show, there are other characters in the show as well, and seeing their interactions with one another was really fun to watch. The interactions with the characters in both the funny comedic moments as well as the more dramatic moments never missed a beat and never felt out of place in my opinion. It was natural. Some might argue that the show is filled with cliche anime character tropes, and that is true, it's filled with that. But at the same time, a lot of shows, a lot of anime, a lot of manga do follow a specific trope, specific cliche, and that's fine. It's how the show uses it that's what propels it forward. And I think Licorice is one of the shows that uses character tropes really, really well and propels the story forward. Now, I've been rambling a lot about how good the show really is, but is there anything bad about the show? If I have to be honest, I don't really see anything. I'm not saying this show is perfect. No one is saying that. But the show to me was full of good rather than bad, to the point where I did not notice anything that was bad at all. Overall, what I'm trying to say is don't sleep on the show. Don't sleep on Licorice Recoil. Despite this season having a lot of sequels to really popular shows, as well as adaptations of really popular manga and light novel, the fact that an anime original with virtually no hype manages to stand above the rest, to me, is really something worth talking about. Is it contender for anime of the season? In my opinion, it is the anime of the season. Is it contender for anime of the year? Probably. Only time will tell. And with that being said, I really hope you enjoy this show as much as I do. And I really hope that this show grabbed you like it did with me. And this is just an excuse for me to talk about why I like the show. So with that being said, I guess that's all for this video. leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, as well as leave a comment about what you think about Lycoris Recoil. I would love to read them as well. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.